The Rams have officially released Cooper Kupp. We'll talk about that next on this free agency episode here on the Rams Up Podcast Network. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Rams Up Podcast Network. I'm Ian. Like, subscribe, share this video and podcast with all your fellow Rams and football fans. I very much appreciate it. And, today, the news we have all been anticipating, the news we have all likely been bracing for, even though we don't like it. Rams will officially release wide receiver Cooper Kupp. As it's unfortunate news, and let's pull up the tweet where we got that news from. As Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network source, the Rams have informed wide receiver Cooper Kupp they're releasing him today on the official start of the league new year, the official beginning, technically, of the 2025 season, as that is today. And very unfortunate they could not find a trade with him, as his salary was large, and teams were probably like, hey, we're not going to give up assets to sign him. We don't want to take on that big contract and all that remaining money he has left over. And unfortunate, super unfortunate it got to this point with a Rams legend. As here's a picture of me and him back in the training camp of 2018. So before the 2018 season started, when the Super Bowl season kicked off, going to the Super Bowl, I should say, against the New England Patriots, which, the Rams unfortunately lost. But here is Cooper Kupp and I back then chatting, talking, as it was a not super packed time I got there. And then some of the players, including him, were out there warming up and just having to shout to him, hey, Cooper Kupp. And he coming over. We talked for about 4 to 5 minutes about LA, how he liked it, other things, a little bit of football too. And he was kind enough to get a picture with me after conversating with him. So I'll always appreciate talking with him, talking with a Rams legend, and him for being a cool dude, a good guy. And that's a big part outside of football, right? Just because you're a good football player doesn't mean you're a good person. And I can definitely say in that 5-minute convo with Cooper Kupp, he is definitely a good person. And so it's just it's a crappy day to see him go. But I think it's important, Rams Nation, we go through the history of Rams Cooper Kupp. As in 2017, he was drafted in the 3rd round, pick number 69 overall, as he was drafted later than Corey Davis, Mike Williams, John Ross, Zay Jones, Curtis Samuel, Juju Smith-Schuster, and he was the 6th wide receiver taken in that, or 6th ahead of him, 7th overall wide receiver in that draft, excuse me. And other than Mike Williams, Juju Smith, a season here or there, I mean, Cooper Kupp has had a fantastic, in terms of how long you've played and what you've done in the league. I mean, he's been the most accomplished by far. And again, maybe you can argue Mike Williams, maybe you can argue Juju Smith-Schuster for winning a championship, but no doubt about it, his impact has probably been more profound than any receiver in that 2017 draft class. And also, Cooper Kupp was a first-team all-rookie wide receiver. So on top of the draft stock and just in that one season alone in 2017, he was fantastic, as he did have a productive year, being an unknown 4th wide receiver to start that season. If you remember, it was Sammy Watkins, it was Robert Woods, it was Tavon Austin. And then as time went on very quickly, probably from after game 1 onward, Cooper Kupp cracked the starting lineup, overtaking Tavon Austin, and it was his job to lose from there on out for many, 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 many years, as he did end up catching a touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons in that wild card playoff game, the first home playoff game for an LA Rams team in, 30 plus years at that point back in the 2017 campaign. So fantastic year for Kupp. And then we fast forward to the 2018 2018 season as things really started to take off, but unfortunately, he had a big knee injury against the Seattle Seahawks about the midway point, and I was at that game, and that was unfortunate to see as he was having a nice game, a nice season overall. I would say about 500, 600 yards receiving, and I feel like he was definitely on pace to cracking 1,000 with Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods, most likely. Um, but unfortunate, Rams went on to the Super Bowl that year. If Cooper Kupp was healthy, no doubt about it, I think they beat the New England Patriots in that game. And they don't just score 3 points, as Cooper Kupp was that level of a player even in his second year. But unfortunate. And then 2019, Kupp's first 1,000-yard receiving season, as finally we got to see him be fully unleashed for a full, 16 plus game season as a veteran player at that point. And he had a nice year. Unfortunately, the Rams missed the playoff tournament as that was the final year of the old format where it was just 6 teams from each conference, NFC, AFC, making the playoff tournament. Now it's 7. If the Rams were a part of the new playoff format in that 2019 season, they would have been the 7th seed and they would have gone on to play, plenty of teams that would have been afraid of them, no doubt about it. And they probably could have won a playoff game or two, maybe could have had a magical run in that 2019 season, but unfortunately that was not the format yet. And then we jump to 2020 as we finally get the new version of Cooper Kupp, him switching from number 18 back to his high school college football number 10, as we got a different version of Cooper Kupp, a more seasoned veteran, but productive. The offense was not explosive to any degree, as Jared Goff got the shoulder of the blame of why the offense was not pushing the ball down the field hardly. But Cooper had a little under 1,000 yards, played every game except in that wild card playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks, where the Rams upset Seattle up there. He had a knee injury that kept him out of the second round of the playoff against the Green Bay Packers, which him and famously Aaron Donald were not 100% and could not contribute to the way that they normally would have and would have been able to. So unfortunate ending to that season, Cooper Kupp. But then we jump to 2021, where Cooper Kupp has the most yards from scrimmage by a wide receiver in NFL history with 1,965. And for you out there listening in who are unfamiliar with what scrimmage yards are, it's not total yards. Scrimmage yards meaning on offense only, the total yards between you getting a handoff and running the ball and from you catching the ball. Total yards would be counting kick returns, punt returns, and a bunch of other stuff. It's not including that. It's just rushing and receiving. That is what the scrimmage yards, and Cooper Kupp has that record for a wide receiver with, again, 1,965, as that season was his Triple Crown season and where he won Super Bowl MVP. As that season, Rams Nation, is still the best in Rams history by far. As you can see, this top 5 list, if you're tuning in here on YouTube, Cooper Kupp sits at number 1 with the most yards by a wide receiver, the most touchdowns in the modern era outside of Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch with 17. But then you have Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, and Elroy as they round out the top 5 best wide receiver receiving seasons. When even back in Elroy's day in the 50s, they didn't even call them wide receivers. They called them like your right end. That's before terminology started to change. But if you're here tuning on YouTube, check out this grid here. I mean, fantastic. It's what a great group. Hall of Famers all around there. And Cooper Kupp surpassed them all with that 2021 campaign. I mean, just absolutely what a fantastic year. As we all remember Cooper Kupp having that famous back shoulder catch over Eli Apple in the Super Bowl. We had his other touchdown wide open in a corner route. We had the no-look pass from Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp. We had him catching tons of passes on that game-winning drive. And what a fantastic photo. What a famous moment in sports LA history right here with Cooper Kupp's performance in that Super Bowl and this game-winning catch, as he celebrated that like a true champion, holding up that Lombardi trophy with, in typical LA fashion, with a Kobe jersey on, the Black Mamba number 8 jersey he wore during that Super Bowl parade. That was a fun time when I was out there personally. And he knew what it meant. He mentioned Kobe in his uh, very drunken slash happy state at the microphone there. That was a fun moment, bringing up Kobe and bringing up other legends and what it means to be an LA athlete, a LA champion in your respective sport. So that was a fun day for sure. And then, hey, we move on forward to the 2022 season. Well, unfortunately, he had a big ankle injury, as he was definitely on pace to have well over 1,000 yards and multiple, big time touchdowns in that season. But that was a disaster Super Bowl hangover year where he got hurt, Aaron Donald got hurt, Matthew Stafford got hurt, every O lineman you can name from that year got hurt. Other players were banged up. It was just a mess. And unfortunately, his season came to an end a little bit over the halfway point then. And then we fast forward to 2023, where he was productive, but he played through injuries, Rams Nation. He had the hamstring that kept him out for the first 4 weeks. Then he came back, had some great moments. And then definitely, I mean, he probably won't speak on it until his playing days are over, but he was dealing with stuff. There's just no doubt about it. Watching film and all that, he had his arm wrapped up. You remember he had that special kind of like blue and white tape. He definitely was always grimacing when he was getting tackled, getting hit. I mean, he was playing through stuff like a true Ram, like a true football warrior. But hey, just like other players you can name of that don't complain about it, don't bring it up. I mean, that's a football player at its core right there. But it was obvious. And again, Puka Nacua broke records, and they were having a nice season together. Then Kupp's last ride as a Ram in this past 2024 season, where played, had a fantastic week one performance against the Lions, then gets hurt, misses time, and then had some good games here or there. But towards the end of the season, Rams Nation, it was obvious that he was banged up again, or maybe Father Time was finally catching up to him as the Rams were playing Demarcus Robinson more than him, were, choosing to deploy Puka and DeMarcus in the 12 personnel packages, the two wide receivers, two tight ends, one running back set, and they were choosing DeMarcus to be out there over Cooper Kupp. Even Jordan Whittington played more than him in those packages in the playoff game against the Vikings. But hey, Cooper had some big catches in that playoff game against Minnesota. He had some big time catches against the Philadelphia Eagles. But definitely, this was the final straw for the Rams leadership to say, hey, we can't be paying him this much for him to not be a difference maker, play in and play out like Puka Nacua is, like Demarcus Robinson has been more than him, like Tutu Atwell had been more than him. And that's just the unfortunate reality with these sports. No matter what sport it is, it's when the money and the production and the skill sets aren't matching up anymore. I mean, teams will move on, and the Rams have been notorious for that. But hey, it would have been nice to get a Super Bowl out of this past season with Kupp, and I'm sure that's a part of the reason why McVay was so sad and upset over the loss against Philadelphia. But hey, not everything comes together like you would hope for. But all you can do is put your best foot forward and see what happens. And the Rams did, and they came up short. But man, what a journey that has been. But let's take a look at Cooper Kupp's overall stats for his time as a Ram. So we pull this up here, Rams Nation. So starting from the 2017 season, ending at the 2024 season, a lot of those years were messed up by injury, as again, 2018, 2020 in the playoffs. You get 2022, 23, and 24. So 5 of his seasons as a Ram have ended with him not being fully healthy or not being, able to finish a season, or he missing the beginning of seasons. And if he were to have played all the games possible, I mean, he would definitely be well over 10,000 total receiving yards. He would be in that special category of wide receivers who have gotten that. Just like the running backs over 10,000, there is a special place for wide receivers over 10,000 career receiving yards. But again, the injuries held it out all back as you look at these stats. There was a lot of years it was close, even the last couple, where if he plays all the games, he's for sure getting 1,000 at least. And he would be looked at differently, not just from Rams fans, but from the casual football fan of like, hey, Cooper Kupp was that guy always getting 1,000, but unfortunately, his body cannot let him stay on the field consistently throughout his time as a Ram. But no doubt about it, he's a Rams legend. And where does he stack up in terms of Rams career receiving yards? As Isaac Bruce is number 1, Torrey Holt is number 2, Henry Ellard is number 3, and then Cooper Kupp is fourth all time in Rams receiving yards with 7,776 and 57 total touchdowns, which would be third all time in touchdown catches for a Ram. So Cooper Kupp is in my personal Mount Rushmore of Rams wide receivers, right? If you're building a Rams all offense, it would be Isaac Bruce, it would be Torrey Holt, and I would put Cooper Kupp there in that third spot, right? All in their prime. Prime Kupp, prime Bruce, prime Torrey Holt. I think that's a receiving trio that would be unstoppable to any talented defense in NFL history, in my opinion. So Cooper Kupp, again, an all-time Ram, a Rams legend for everything he did on the football field, for what he meant to the community, and what he meant to all of us as fans. Wow. The end is here, unfortunately. Sucks, sucks, sucks. But Rams Nation, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Cooper Kupp playing his final games as a Ram? This is it. And yeah, it's painful. Yeah, it sucks. This is the professional business that we all enjoy, right? This is the backside of it that we don't enjoy, with players being gone, and sucks. But definitely, I'll make sure to get a Cooper Kupp jersey framed with this picture I have here, and it'll be in my man cave very, very soon. But that'll do it here on this free agency update here on the Rams Up Podcast Network. Like, subscribe, share this video and podcast with all your fellow Rams and football fans. And again, let me know in the comments how you feel about Kupp being gone and what he meant to you as a Los Angeles Ram. And that'll do it here. We'll see you next time. And salute to King Kupp, forever a Ram. Go Rams, baby.